Okay, so moving on to the next song, Scattering the Ashes. Getting a little bit emotionally heavy here, and I'm sure this one's going to be just as good. Just as, hopefully not too depressing. I really hope I'm not depressed by the end of this album. Okay, let's go. Some good guitar melodies. That's good.
Your face betrays your words, and those words gave way to hurt. The ground between us grows like wounds that never show. But the distance couldn't mend, 'cause the time ran out instead. The ground between us grows
Not bad
like
so far.
wounds that never show. A father and son, two lives now come
Like the melody
undone.
with the guitar.
A father and son, too late now, all is gone. So tonight,
Fairly slow song, nothing standing out. That is good.
shattering the ashes. Your face reveals your pain. Seconds lost, I take the blame. The cold light cuts the night. Your ashes come to life. What's left is in my hands. Will I ever understand? The cold light cuts the night. Your ashes come to life. A father and son, two lives
Fairly
now
repetitive,
come
this song.
undone. A father and son,
Changing.
too late now, all is gone. So tonight,
Actual chorus.
I'm scattering the ashes. I'm scattering the ashes.
See what the bridge is like.
What's lost, we'll never
Again,
know.
like the background vocals.
We'll never know.
And the solo on cue. Right after the bridge.
A father and son, two lives
Okay.
now come undone. A father
You know it's gotta have those songs, so you gotta have
right now,
a little bit of
all
great
is
ones.
gone. So tonight,
And then good ones.
I'm scattering the ashes. I'm scattering the ashes. I'm scattering the ashes. I'm scattering the ashes.
And that's it. Yeah. Nothing special about that one. Didn't really jump out to me, but let's take a look at the lyrics. It's called Scattering the Ashes, and it starts with your face betrays your words, and those words gave way to hurt. The ground between us grows like wounds that never show, but the distance couldn't mend because the time ran out instead. The ground between us grows like wounds that never show. So it kind of sounds like a relationship that's growing apart. And then, of course, it says, of father and son, two lives now come undone. So it seems like it's a father-son relationship that's coming apart. Of father and son, too late now, all is gone. So tonight I'm scattering the ashes. I think I've had too much Red Bull. My mind is racing and I can't talk. Okay. It seems as though either the father or son has died, and probably the father, and the son scattering the ashes, dealing with the time that's lost and the distance that has been created beforehand when they were kind of separating. Makes me think a little bit, just going to scripture, of the parable of the prodigal son. And that whole parable is about a son who leaves his father, takes all the money, and he goes and spends it all on all sorts of terrible things, prostitutes and whatever else, probably alcohol and stuff like that, and just wastes it all. And then, of course, the father is kind of, he should be upset. But in this parable, in this story, the son eventually comes to his senses and says, "This is not the life for me. I'm going to go back to my dad, to my father, and ask him if he will at least hire me as a worker for his fields or whatever." And of course, when he goes back, his dad greets him and actually throws a big party because he says, "My son is now found. He was lost and now he's found." And they have a big party and they celebrate. So the father is quite forgiving. He's only happy that the relationship between him and his son can be reestablished, and that his son has come to his senses. Of course, this parable speaks a little bit about our lives toward God and how we squander everything, and we live in a life that's contrary to God, and all that's needed is to believe in God, to turn to God, and He will rescue us, and He will be glad to rescue us. And so that just made me think of the parable of the prodigal son. Let's move on to the next track.